Howdy. Some 10 months ago, a walrus has stranded on Finland's beach. And now, today, there's a humpback whale, at least one. Should Köggar's whale be driven to the Atlantic or shot? The unequivocal answer from an expert. The fate of the humpback whale observed in the Baltic Sea depends on many factors. The biggest question is whether the whale gets enough food. I think the walrus didn't. Let's check out the video if it works. The hair might be a bit sketchy, but there's obviously no sound to that. There is.
Nyt on iso. Mikä tää on? Onks tää...
Ei oo tällaistakaan nähnyt täällä.
Toivottavasti ei ota takilaa.
Joo, tai laitetaan mun haspeli. Tai nostaa venettä.
Onks toi niitä jotain eikö mitään lahtivalaita? Mitä nää? Seessä viriää tuo.
Se on alla.
Ei saata.
Parempi kai.
Toivottavasti ei ota nyt mihinkään.
Älä nyt saamari vaan nostaa venettä. Oikeesti.
Takilassa oli vähän tujumpi valas. Ei tiedä yhtään missä pyörii.
No se 89 metriä.
Se on se sukels.
Taakse ja...
Se on lahtivalaskona mitä on Norjassa. Voisiko se olla semmoinen? Ei juman kautta. Se on tässä video.
Yeah, anyway, now we have seen the whale. The fate of the humpback whale lost in Finnish territorial waters is uncertain. The survival of a whale depends on many factors, says whale researcher Olli Loisa from Turku University of Applied Sciences. Some of the strays find their way back to right living area. Some have a bad time. Life and nature are harsh, says Loisa. In the Baltic Sea, there were sightings of a humpback whale on Saturday and Sunday, which should be spending the summer in the North Atlantic. The humpback whale is not a fast mover, so its excursion in the Baltic Sea can easily take several weeks. Whether the animal stays in the Baltic Sea for a long time is the sum of many things. Will the whale survive? Probably not if they shoot it. A humpback whale has been spotted in the Baltic Sea over the weekend. The humpback whale is a salt ocean animal. According to Loisa, the humpback whale's survival depends on a few important things: on what condition the whale has arrived in the area, whether it can find food, and how long it stays in the Baltic Sea. They seem to repeat themselves all over again. The humpback whale is an oceanic animal that lives in salty seas. There can be challenges with nutrition. In the North Atlantic, the humpback whale mainly eats krill and small schooling fish such as woolly shell and herring. The supply of food in the Baltic Sea is not as abundant as that of a whale under normal conditions. Of course, if it learns to eat kilo shark, it's kilo haili, which is a very small fish. But anyway, funny translation. And herring, i.e. small shoal fish, it has a chance to survive longer, says Loisa. But it's quite a mystery whether a whale can learn something like this. The Baltic Sea is brackish water with less salt than the ocean. The lower salinity of the Baltic Sea affects the whale, and different strains of bacteria can affect the whale. Based on the pictures and videos this current individual seems to have skin symptoms, which is not very often seen in humpback whales that are in areas suitable for them, says Loisa. This is how you should act with a whale. The next question is whether the humpback whale will be the same as Hamina's walrus. Last summer, a walrus appeared in Hamina and died on the way to Korkeasaari, which is the zoo in Helsinki. In the case of Hamina's walrus, there was a lot of discussion about what should have been done with the lost animal. Yeah, and we remember there were many experts talking about that. In the opinion of many, the walrus should have been saved immediately. Some would have immediately euthanized the animal. In the end, the walrus died on its way to Korkeasaari. Hunger was one of the biggest causes of death. For those who haven't heard about that, there were this walrus was stranded there somewhere on the city shore. I think it was Hamina. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was rather exhausted, hungry, and maybe not that well in general. And people went there in the evening and they were singing for the walrus. Anyway, how should you deal with humpback whales? Should it be left alone, or, for example, should it be driven back towards the Atlantic with help of boats? Lois has an unequivocal answer to this. When it's such a big animal, the only option is let it be. If you start steering it with a boat, the animal will be disturbed. There is no way to manage such a journey through the Danish Straits, says Lois. What if the whale's condition deteriorates drastically? Where does the whale go to die? Can it appear on the coast of Finland? It is difficult to assess. Humpback whales don't actually go anywhere to die, but they can land on poor condition or die at sea, says Loisa. Yeah, what an expert. According to Loisa, there is no single reason for a lost humpback whale. Humpback whales are now seen more frequently in the southern parts of the Baltic Sea because populations have recovered with the ban of whaling. The stock feeding in the North Atlantic is currently the largest, so there is more potential for straying, says Loisa. The humpback whale moves both alone and in small groups. If there are good feeding areas, then there can be dozens of humpback whales in the same areas. The population of humpback whales has recovered over the years. It occurs abundantly during summer feeding times on the coast of northern Norway and Iceland. The lost whale in the Baltic Sea is the fourth sighting of a humpback whale in Finland. The first time humpback whale was spotted in Finland was in 1978, the second time in 2006, and the third time in 2018. Yeah, now once again, they seem to come by more often than in the past. Might have to do something with Earth's magnetic field and changes which are going on. I don't know. I just thought I'd tell you that there's a whale in the Baltic Sea, a humpback whale. Thanks. Bye.